Wrestling fans to On the Mat. That's right, On the Mat is back, and the first inaugural, interview is longtime friend, Mr. Mike Matthews. Mike, we've been back and forth a long time. I've seen you on the independent scene a long time ago. I guess the MSPW days.
Yeah, even before the MCW.
Yes.
I met you in MSPW.
Yeah.
At MCW a long time ago. That's where I started.
So, what have you been doing with yourself? I hear that you've been here, there, and pretty much everywhere.
Last couple of years have been interesting. I moved out to California. Working out there a lot. Come back to Chicago once a month to either do underground wrestling, which is tonight,
Yep.
or I do freelance. But mostly it's just Chicago and Northern California now. Like before, it used to be all about the Midwest and all around the Midwest, and even Tennessee and places like
Yeah.
that. But mostly now, those are NorCal's home now.
Right.
And-
Now, from what I've understood, that out there in Cali, you guys are drawing excellent crowds. I
Yeah.
mean, is there a difference between the style of wrestling there on the West Coast compared to here in the Midwest?
You know, I get asked that a lot. Yeah, I think there is. And this isn't putting anyone down, because I always feel weird answering that question, just because it's like, NorCal's home now, and Chicago's always going to be home in my heart. But it's just, I think out there, they are very about the basics.
Yeah.
I train. I have my own part of the training out there. It's APW Gold Mine. If you ever look it up, NorCal. It's the best training you can get. 4 top guys probably in NorCal, all training people. But I think they're very about the basics. I think they're very from the ground up. There's even manuals that we use, and this is written tests. I
Wow.
mean, it's very. Roland Alexander came up with a lot of things from APW to really test these guys. And I'm talking about these guys probably didn't even see a match in 2 years.
Wow.
Out here, I feel it's very back to more of grinding it out. Like Chicago's, called the working city, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's very hard-nosed. Not so much about the books. It's very hard-nosed. Pay your dues. Grind it out. I mean, right here, Bryce Benjamin School. It's probably the best in the area.
right.
But he's a guy doesn't use books, doesn't use anything like that. He really pushes you. And I feel like the biggest difference is there's a lot of innovation here in Chicago, especially with
Yeah.
freelance and underground guys like that. Just a lot of innovation. And I feel like out there, it's starting to get to that point where there's a lot of innovative guys, but they're really they're more about the basics, and it's really cool. It's really fun. You find a lot of great training out there, and here you'll find a lot of big ass moves, man. But I think that's the biggest difference. But that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Doesn't cross over.
Oh,
I mean, it
absolutely.
crosses over. I mean, it's just a fun time to be in wrestling in both cities.
So, what actually brought you into wrestling? Was there someone on TV that you used to watch when you were younger that you idolized, or how did that story prevail to bring for you to try this?
Well, what's funny is, back in the day, we didn't. There was no YouTube.
Yeah.
I've been around for. This is going on my 14th year. There was no YouTube. The only, you can watch television obviously every Monday night, every Thursday night, but I think ECW on the Access Channel was really what got me going. Rob Van Dam, Jerry Lynn, Sabu, guys like that. I don't know what it was. It's just it really showed me that smaller guys can make it in this business. I'm not saying they're small, but I'm just saying
Right.
it didn't have to be the 6'4", 270-pound guys.
Like the cookie cutter type muscle bound guys.
It gave an opening for guys. Paul Heyman and them gave guys a chance that were smaller in stature and just really workhorses to really get on television, I thought. And then I checked out MCW one time.
Right.
Brian Zenner.
Brian Zenner. Hi, Brian.
And I just easily, after a show one time, after watching guys like Low Key and Jason Rain and Christopher Daniels, I mean, big shows that he was putting on, Zenner was awesome, Afterwards, I just asked him if I could take down the ring. I was 17. I just turned 17 years old, and he said, why not? And then from then on, I was part of the MCW, I guess, ring crew.
Right.
A couple of us, and then from there, it just kind of took off. But I would say between MCW, LWF. I mean, LWF was the first ever independent show I ever went to, but MCW is the one that let me in to just start taking down rings.
And I take it I'm sure you've had your fair share of fun
Oh,
and things like that. One thing I like to ask, and with you doing a lot of the death-defying things that you do, I've seen you in cage matches where you've jumped off cages. Your agility is bar none. Okay, is definitely bar none. What is the scariest thing that you have seen in the ring, where it made you cringe? You're like, oh my God, you know, is this guy all right, or that didn't go quite as planned, or?
It's probably had to be anything from ECW, but if I can choose one moment in really independence, probably it's probably Acid in LWF, to be honest with you. He did this, he was working in a ladder match. It was at the Garfield Ridge, whatever that house is called. He did a springboard 450. This is before, you know, this started becoming even popular. A springboard 450 onto a ladder that was onto Double M. And the moment Acid hit the ladder with his elbow exploded. And it was out. I mean, the bone was out, and it was just gruesome. And to me, that sticks out a lot because that was one of the first moments where I was like, you know, that was one of my first independent shows.
Right.
So I was like, oh my God, like you don't see that everywhere.
No,
so
no, that you
it
don't.
just literally exploded in front of you. I think that was one of the scariest moments only because he finished the match with that thing out. And I really kind of, it just showed that what these indie guys getting paid, what they're getting paid, and the hours on the road put up with, you know. I don't even know if he had insurance, to be honest with you, stuff like that. I mean, that was probably, and besides me looking down at Jesus Bryce on the top of a 15-foot cage,
yes,
that was one of the moments where I looked down and I was just like, I can't believe that I called this, you know what I mean? Something like that. That was pretty.
Yeah, I was there at that. I was there at that show, and fans, I tell you, even myself, and I've seen a lot. I've seen people get knocked out. I've seen people get busted open. But the dive, you know, off the cage, just made me go, oh my God, you know. That's why I have so much respect for all these guys on the independent scene. Everybody's got their critiques about the independent scene and stuff like that. If there was something that you could change or help try to change or show some of the newer guys coming in, what would you show them, you know, about wrestling? What advice would you give them?
Pay your dues. I just don't see it a lot anymore. I don't see what me and Bryce Benjamin, Justin Cage, all these guys that came up and got somewhere. I don't see it as much anymore. These guys putting up and taking down rings and getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, taking down a ring, bringing down that ring to a place 2 hours away, watching the show, maybe sometimes being part of the show, wrestling on that show, taking down that ring to bring it back to a facility 2 hours away and building that ring back up. I think Gali and Underground are very good when it comes to that. You know, it helps that we're stationary and we're running around the same place, but I think that they really instill in their kids how to pay dues because Bryce Benjamin is a guy that's still paying his dues. I mean, 14, 15 years later, this guy is still doing this.
You know, you know, with Bryce, you know, from day one, and I remember him from RCW, you know, to, you know, another underground. This is the legit underground. Don't get me wrong when I say this, and fans, you know me as long as you've been watching the show. Underground has been around before, but this is all new underground. This is a better underground. You know, Bryce Benjamin has been all over the place. You know, one of the top guys, you know, in the independent scene today. So if you do want to get trained, he's the guy to look at. Right?
I think and I don't just say this because he's one of my best friends. Kayfabe's out the window. One of the top indie guys that needs to be somewhere.
Yes.
Just needs, and that just isn't from my mouth. I mean, it's from talent. I mean, the guys know him from California. There's guys that know him. I text him that every so often. There's this guy that know. He's one of those guys that he just needs that chance, that shot, and I just don't know why he's still doing. You know, I mean, I appreciate everything he does here, but I think he needs to be on a different level because he's been on a different level for a long time.
I hear you. Well, I tell you what. fans, Underground is about ready to get underway. Mike, thank you very much for being the inaugural, interview with the return of On the Mat. So I tell you, without further ado, let's just see Mike Matthews in action.
Bryce
And
showing
if
something.
these men are surviving this early on, you know it's going to take something big to end this one. And honestly, it's quite scary.
Oh, it scares the hell out of me.
Jesus, Bryce!
You could just see him ricocheting off the cage.
And just bouncing off the mat. I've never seen this type of aggression and violence out of Mike Matthews. Man, he's usually such a pure, proficient wrestler with beautiful aerial techniques, great submission holds. Is so precise in everything he does. A lot of focus on execution, and tonight he is fighting to hurt Jesus Bryce.
Oh yeah, and he's been put down a time or two in the many times that these men have gone head to head, and he just can't take it anymore. He has to bring the fight.
And that front chancery guillotine style hold. We like to pull him into a guard position possibly, but Jesus Bryce with those uppercuts to the stomach.
Fighting back, looking to take advantage and get the upper hand here.
Oh, and that boot cutting off Matthews. And a snap suplex there. Like I mentioned earlier, spacing is going to be critical. The more Jesus Bryce stays on top of Mike Matthews, the better for him it will be as this contest wears on. You can't give Mike Matthews any open room.
Oh, what's Bryce going for here?
Could be looking for that big powerbomb. Crucifixion! Sends him into the steel cage with it. We've seen him end matches at the center of the ring, but to do it into a steel cage.
And that cage is unforgiving.
Oh, and he's not even done.
It has no give to it. It does not bend. It will break you before it breaks itself.
And Justin Cage trying to get the crowd behind him again.
Bryce has him up again.
Another crucifixion into the steel cage.
Bryce, now how can any human being absorb this kind of pain and this kind of attack?
Covers him 2 and 3. No.
No way.
Mike Matthews might be too stubborn for his own good here. But James Russo said, we will never see Mike Matthews again after this contest. You know that Jesus Bryce isn't just looking to beat him, he's looking to end his career.
And he's come close a time or two before. And if this doesn't end him now, I don't know what will. Both of these men gonna go to the edge on each other. And somebody you never end up the same coming from a cage match. You never walk out of there the way you walked into it for either competitor.
And Jesus Bryce levels him with that forearm. And Bryce sends him into the buckles, and Matthews just dropping to the mat. His back has been driven into the steel cage and compressed into the canvas on several occasions.
Bryce,
I don't know that he can stand.
Matthews has to go corner to corner to stop him.
Matthews
a hand on his
grabs the trunks, trying to do anything to stay in this contest. He can't let the rivalry end this way.
Listen to the shots of the back.
Another one, what a precarious position as both men are propped on the top rope. Huge kick for Matthews! And another! Oh, shot to the throat from Jesus Bryce. He's got him in a claw position. He's just facing down to the mat. Matthews holding on for dear life, otherwise he's got to fall head first.
He can't let go.
And he elbows his way free. Oh, and a headbutt. Oh, and Matthews fell down. He landed on the top rope. There is not a worse way to fall to the canvas than that. And the crowd trying to rally behind Matthews, but I don't know.
Bryce considering climbing over that top, but he's shaking his head. He's not done with Matthews.
He wants to rid Underground of Mike Matthews. He wants to rid wrestling of Mike Matthews for good.
And he very well might be successful in doing that tonight. He's got every tool to his advantage.
Oh, and just face first into that steel cage like a battering ram. And that steel, we got a good look at that cage before this contest.
Oh, I felt it.
Very rough steel. Gritty, it has no give to it.
No, it's not pleasant. It's no one's first choice of anything. But this is the environment that these two have put themselves in, and this is the only way that this rivalry between the two of them is going to end. It's going to end here tonight.
Just forearming away at the head of Mike Matthews, and that running knee. All impact in the corner, caught every bit of it. And Mike Matthews looks like he might be bleeding from the forehead a little bit there, possibly. No, his head just rubbed raw from that steel instead. And Jesus Bryce looking to escape. Mike Matthews after him, he's got his boot. Trying to pull him down, places him on the top rope. Oh, now he's on the second.
Here? Bryce holding on.
German suplex on the second. He landed right on his head.
Oh my God. Bryce might not be able to walk after that one.
Matthews rolls him over. 1, 2, and 3. No! Jesus Bryce is still in this match.
Kick out after that.
That is without a doubt the most vicious German suplex I have ever seen in all my years of commentating and watching wrestling. I can't believe Jesus Bryce is still in this. He's going to try and get out the door. The officials open the door. Mike Matthews is going to get out. He's still got it in the back. And James Russo just slammed the door.
I stand corrected yet again.
And Justin Cage, that's what he's here for. Beat his ass, Justin!
Oh, and the minions!
Oh, damn it, no! The followers of Jesus Christ just jumping him. And James Russo somehow getting away. Meanwhile, in the ring, Jesus Christ just punching away at the forehead of Mike Matthews.
I still cannot believe that Bryce is up, that he's cognizant, that he's walking, because he took a hell of a German suplex off of that top rope.
And now Justin Cage has been taken to the back. But James Russo is still here. Things are not looking good for Mike Matthews.
And Mike Matthews busted open.
Oh, and just look at that. The blood spilling on the forehead as he grates it against the steel.
We have blood, ladies and gentlemen, and Mike Matthews is the first to be cut open.
This match not for the faint of heart. Mike Matthews in a bad way at this point. And now just those fists trying to open up that wound even more. Mike Matthews ate steel so many times, it was just a matter of time before he got cut open.
Yeah, the human head can only take so much damage and attack to it.
Oh, and Matthews with a desperation shot to the gut. Benjamin still controls the head. Jesus Bryce tries to send him off. Matthews blocks it. Oh! Matthews sends him face first into the steel.
And again! And again!
Shooting Jesus Bryce around the ring like a pinball. Yeah, Jesus Bryce blocks it, kick to the gut, and Matthews goes head first into the cage.
I'm surprised he didn't break through that steel, but that just goes to show you exactly how devastating this steel cage is. It is cold, hard steel, and it will not break for either one of these men.
And I don't know that I've ever seen Mike Matthews in all my years following his career look worse than he has right now. He just physically, he's cut open, he is slouched against the fence. Jesus Bryce has done a number on him and pulling himself up by the official. Jesus Bryce in every bit of a bad way as well. And just a shot to the face. It's gonna be a matter of survival for these men at this point. And he plants Matthews, thunderous body slam. And Bryce is looking to escape the cage. And Matthews somehow crawling.
This is
How
unbelievable.
in God's name has he sustained
It is
this?
unbelievable, and he's climbing on his own accord as well.
No way. Oh my God, both men are scaling the cage at the same time over the center of the ring.
They've got each other.
Could be looking Russian leg sweep!
Oh my
Jesus
God.
Bryce sacrificing himself so as to do damage to the Angel of Flight.
Neither one of these men are gonna be getting out of here alive or on their own will. They're taking both a lot of all of them, and the crowd is getting into it as they appreciate exactly what these two men are doing in that steel cage.
And the followers of Jesus Bryce have been vocal, but Mike Matthews has won the people over at Underground over these last several months with gutsy performance after gutsy performance, and we're witnessing another one tonight. But the question is, does he have anything left in the tank?
Oh, that's exactly the question that needs to be answered here, and I don't know if either one of them are gonna have anything left after this. Both
Matthews
of them.
has got him up! Gigantic center of the ring!
Head.
Cover 1, 2, and 3! No!
He's kicked out.
Jesus Bryce! Still in this contest! Matthews is
unreal.
stunned!
The crowd fully behind Mike Matthews. Jesus Bryce is superhuman because there's no way any other individual would have been able to kick out after that.
A devastating maneuver that Matthews rarely uses. Only busted out on special occasion. I thought that was going to be it.
And Mark, I don't know if I'm seeing this right, but it looks like Bryce has been cut open now as well.
It very well could be, and Matthews trying to escape the cage. Very hard to get your footing on this thing.
Matthews coming over the top, but he
James
sees
Russo's right there on the
waiting right there
floor.
for him.
Oh my
Bryce
God,
making his way
no.
up there too. Let Matthews maybe mistakenly leaving his arm overhanging
God's
the cage.
name is gonna happen here. Oh, Matthews is trying to get down, but Jesus Bryce has him guillotined. He won't drop him down to the floor.
He's choking him here, and Matthews has no choice but to come back up.
Oh my God.
No, he can't be. He can't be.
Superplexes him back into the ring. Jesus Bryce just superplexed Mike Matthews.
And
Eric Priest is here. The underwear model is taking out James Russo.
The man who brought both of these men to where they are today is taking it to Vince Russo on the outside.
Disposes that piece of trash, Priest. The crowd in Villa Park showing their approval. But how much can Mike Matthews even move? Is he moving at all?
Do they know where they are? Do they remember what they're fighting for here tonight as they're battling each other in this last match of the year in Underground Wrestling? Russo taken to the back by Eric Priest.
Matthews with a shot to the gut. Is he gonna crucifix Jesus Bryce?
He's got him up.
Russo is right on the ring. Dropped him right on his neck. Cover. 1, 2, 3. No!
Kicks out.
He almost beat him with his own move. But Jesus Bryce will not go down.
This is the craziest thing I've ever witnessed in my life. Bryce Matthews giving it everything they've got here in the steel cage. But what else is it going to take for one of these men to get the victory?
And neither referee and Ministry of 10 count. I don't know if either of them will get up.
No, this may be the way that it ends because I'd be so surprised as it's happening right again.
Oh my God.
Matthews has him
Could
up.
be thinking Angel's wings.
Bryce fighting
Bryce
back.
fighting it off. Kick to the gut.
Going for the
Underhook. He has the Angel's wings on Matthews.
Matthews is done. There's no way he's kicking out after
Bryce
this.
hits him with his own move. 2 and 3. No. Mike Matthews on pure instinct getting the shoulder up.
I'm speechless. Absolutely speechless right now. Seeing these two go to hell and back, trying to get the victory, beating the hell out of each other. No one is gonna go home tonight until one of these two finishes the other one off. And the crowd here at Underground Wrestling showing their appreciation, telling them that this is awesome. And it is.
It is, but it's also devastating both of these men's careers.
Bryce climbing up the side of the cage. Now he's halfway
Matthews
there.
is eyeing him. And I think Matthews knows that he's seeing his chances of winning this war slip away, but he's inching toward the cage. Matthews is gonna try and make a climb for it. Jesus, Bryce at the very top. And these men just slugging it out a good 10 feet above the ring.
Battling each other. This isn't gonna end well for anyone.
It's gonna come down to what gives.
Oh!
Both men crash to the mat!
Both men falling at least 10 to 15 feet from the top of that cage.
Oh my. And honestly, Matt, I'd be surprised to see either man continue at this point.
No doubt about it. Ending in a count out would not be a surprise to me whatsoever.
Both men wanted to end the other, and I think they may have both ended each other right here.
He's at
You've
6.
got to be
Referee
kidding
is
me.
at 6.
Both of these men are trying to make a concerted
7.
effort
He's at
somehow.
7. He's at 8. There's only 2 more.
And can they even hear the official with the crowd being as loud as
9.
it is?
One more. He's stopping it because Bryce has a foot up and somehow
And Matthews
using the
gets up
ropes.
as well. Matthews got a foot underneath him.
How either one of these men have the will to continue is beyond me.
Oh, and a kick right upside the jaw. And another. Matthews somehow, some way, still got his head up, trying to get to his feet. Oh, and he just gets run headfirst into that cage again. Oh, and Jesus,
And
Bryce
using
gonna
a-
choke
using
him on
as
his
a-
way up.
As a step stool.
An intelligent maneuver. And Bryce is gonna try and escape.
Matthews got that
with
right
a
foot.
hand on a boot. I don't know how much that's gonna do, but now he's making a climb as well.
It helps him just a little bit. Head against
Oh, and
him.
ramming the face of Matthews off the cage. Both these men in a very precarious position yet again. Oh my God, Matthews is hooked and that cage is broken. And Matthews just hung on that steel cage in crucifix position.
Oh my God.
Jesus, Bryce has him exactly where he wants him. Jesus, Bryce going to escape the cage
God.
and solidify his victory in this war. And Matthews somehow, no. Jesus, Bryce responds with punches, and that's going to be it.
Bryce climbing over on the other side.
No, Matthews
still
coming
back.
after
He's holding
him.
on. Bryce is dangling
He's
from the
got him
top.
by the beard, I think.
Matthews not letting him go. And he's pulling him by the beard back into the cage.
He's going to drop him at first. Oh, my God. Pulled it back into the ring. And Jesus, Bryce just fell 15 feet to the mat. And Mike Matthews is going to escape the cage. Oh, my God, no. Mike, no. Jesus, Bryce getting up to his feet. Matthews repositioning himself on top of the cage.
The Angel of Flight, Mike Matthews up top. And the
Senton takes him out. Mike Matthews laying his life on the line.
What a sacrifice from Mike Matthews.
1, 2, 3. Mike Matthews has won the war.
Oh my God, what a match we just saw here to finish out 2014 in Underground Wrestling. Mike Matthews giving it all and sacrificing himself off the top of the cage. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Matthews defeats Jesus Bryce.
Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for joining us. You can only see action like this in underground wrestling for Matt Bacalling. My name is Mark Maxwell, and we're gonna let this moment breathe because Mike Matthews has just picked up the biggest win, not only personally but professionally in his wrestling career.